What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a long minute since we put up a tutorial. So today we are going to be doing a fading tutorial, just a basic how-to. It's going to be in real time. It's not going to be sped up or anything like that. We're just going to go through the basics of doing a fade. It's going to be one side of the haircut, but I'm going to go ahead and break this down as detailed as I possibly can for y'all. And like I said, it will be in real time. So just stay tuned, stay locked in, and let's get to this fade tutorial.
Look, I just flipped the switch.
What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video, another tutorial. It's been a minute, been about like 3-4 weeks, I think, since we put a tutorial up. So back in here with another tutorial. We're gonna be fading one side of the head. Like I said, it's not gonna be sped up. We're gonna keep this just real time. So right here, I am just separating what is on the top from the side where we are going to be fading. This is going to be an undercut type of haircut. So this is a pretty easy way to fade because you're not really connecting the top hair with the fade. So that takes a lot of steps out of your haircut. But I just have some, simple clips you can get at Sally's, metal clips. These tend to be a lot more useful for me rather than the claw looking clips. I like these because they have more tension, so it holds the hair a little bit more snug, a little bit more tight than those claw clips that they have out there. I'm combing through the hair to make sure that we get any knots out, make sure that the hair is all laying down so it's easy to cut and go against the teeth of the blade. Now right here, I'm using the corner of my Barber's. Lever is all the way closed. These clippers are zero gapped, and I am just making a zero guideline so we can bald out underneath that. And you can see me scooping out right there. And when I'm scooping out with this blade closed, all I'm doing is just clearing out some of that bulk. It's been, I want to say, about 2-3 months since my client has got a haircut. So we are going to be chopping off a lot of hair in this tutorial. So you can see here, I'm clearing out all that hair at the bottom underneath the guideline that we have made. And we're just gonna get this completely balded out with the zero gap Barber's and just clear an area out to where we can see what we can start fading. I'm not gonna completely bald it out because underneath all that that zero line, I will be using the Andes Slimline GTXs to clear that out completely after we get the fade completely done. Now right here, I have the lever completely opened on these Barber's, which is equivalent to your half guard, and I am scooping out. I'm making a panel of hair to fade and then scooping out so we can get this hair cleared out. And you can see that panel of hair is probably about 1/2 inch, to 3/4 of an inch wide, and that's going to be the area that we're going to fade out first for our lever close and a lever open with no guard. Now, after we make our panel of hair to fade out, you want to make sure that your guidelines are straight. You want to make sure that you have a good shape to what you're doing. And you can see I start very low at the front, and that is to keep the vertical bars in the C-cup area completely dark, well, as dark as I could possibly get it for an edge up. And then I like to take it up a little bit and then drop it towards the back so we can have some good shape around that occipital bone. But we created our panel of hair, and we're gonna open the lever slightly, fade up, and then work our way from the front to the back, and then open our levers a little bit more. So you want to open your lever about, a quarter of the way, open the lever halfway, and then open the lever 3/4 of the way until you have that lever completely open when you're fading out these panels of hair. Now, if that doesn't do the trick and get these areas completely faded out like you want, after you're done with that, you made your first pass through with the lever, lever playing. What you want to do is right here, you can see me using the corners of my blade, and I'm messing with that lever and just trying to find out what areas need to be detailed and just scooping away at those with the corner of the blade. So we're using the first 2 to 3 corners of the blade to make sure we detail those little areas you can see there. And you're gonna have to play with your lever and find out what's gonna take those little spots out. You wanna start with your lever, as open as possible, and then just start slowly closing it until you find the correct amount that it's gonna take to get those areas out. Now, once we do that, I am doing clipper over comb. just to get, like I said, the bulk knocked down a little bit more. I want to still maintain and keep some shape to this haircut. I wasn't sure how low I was going to keep the fade yet at this point, but we knocked down that bulk, and then we're going to go ahead and switch our clipper up. I will be using the JRLs for the rest of this fade. The JRLs are not zero gapped, so that's why I have to use the babbleless at the very bottom. So the JRLs are just completely stock how they shipped it from the manufacturer. So after we do the babbleless, we're gonna go ahead and get that half guard on the JRLs. We're gonna have the lever completely open, and we're just gonna start fading into that bulk. We're gonna make a panel of hair to fade into about half an inch to 3/4 of an inch. I'm not digging into the bulk of the haircut. I'm kind of just scooping outward just to maintain some shape. Like I said, I don't want to just dig in and just go start chopping off all types of hair, creating guidelines. And the more you dig into the hair, the more lines you're gonna make, and that's just gonna be more work for yourself. So after we have that half guard lever completely open, we're gonna go ahead and close that lever, open and slightly fade up, and then we're gonna open it halfway, fade up, and we're just gonna knock these lines out here. So with this shape right here, with this curved shape to the fade, you want to be making sure that you're using your corners in the areas where there's going to be curves. So when you use those corners and those curved areas, it helps you to detail those areas a lot nicer, neater, and it creates less work for yourself by detailing. So and it also separates you from the rest of your peers, barbers in your area. Detail work will play a crucial role. So you can see here I'm detailing, using that corner of the blade, and just playing with the lever in those dark spots to make sure we get them completely out. And as you can see right there where the clipper's at, there is an indentation on the back of my client's head. So using your corner of the blade on these areas is crucial, because if you use the blade flat, you're just gonna scratch the surface of that indentation. So you want to make sure that you're using the corner of your blade to get in those little dents in the head, little spots like that. Now, after we have the half guard, we are going to go up to the next guard, which is going to be our one guard. So all we're doing with this fade is just stacking guards and just maintaining a process. I seen a little bit of area right there that was dark, so I took the half guard off, and I'm lever playing and just making sure we get those little areas knocked out. The lever open on the JRL is a lot longer in length than the babbleless lever open. So make sure you keep that into mind, how much your lever opens on different clippers and stuff like that. So right here we have the one guard, and we're just creating another panel of hair to fade into, lever all the way open. And once we get that panel of hair created, we will close the lever all the way, open it slightly, and fade up. And as you can see, with that curved guideline we have, that curved shape we have, we are maintaining that as we fade all the way up the head, because we still want to maintain that shape to keep it, a little bit bulky near the ridge, keep some hair up there, and keep the fade looking gradient. When you contour your fade, when you contour your fade to the head shape, it adds a lot more, shape to the haircut. It gives it a different look, rather than just taking a guard all the way up the head, but instead you're trying to create some shape and keep some bulk by fading with this curved drop shape towards the occipital bone. Now we got done with the one guard, and we are using the 1.5 guard, lever open and fading up. And you can see here the blend is coming together. It's looking nice. I'm using my comb to feed the hair into the guard, because that hair is a little bit longer and I don't want to go too far up. So I'm just feeding that hair into that 1.5 guard, lever open, so we can get that blended together right there on the back portion near the occipital bone. Now once the 1.5 lever open is completely done, we are going to go and take that and close the lever and start fading up. And this is just a foolproof method on how you can fade. This is just a process. A lot of people I've watched use this process. Some people like to skip the half guard because the lever on the JRLs is able to open long enough to skip the half guard. But the half guard, in my opinion, allows you to detail a lot of different areas. It's just an easy tool to use in barbering. Of course, a lot of people can fade without the half guard and 1.5 guard. I've done it a lot of times with different haircuts, but it all just depends. The half guard and the 1.5 guard are there as tools to help you with your fades. But right here we have the number 2 guard, lever open, and I'm holding the hair on the top aside with the comb, so I can get all the hair on the ridge completely faded up. And I'm not digging in towards the top hair. I'm just taking that number 2 and the lever open and just fading up and just getting it blended. And we're not following all the way through. We're just getting enough of the haircut so you can blend the hair on the ridge to the rest of the fade, because you don't want to dig, like I said, and just make it look like just a high bald fade with no shape. Just something very simple. This is a more complex looking fade. It has a different look to it, instead of just taking, like I said, a number like 1.5 or 2 guard closes all the way up and just losing any shape you could possibly have. But now I have the 1.5 guard and I'm just detailing. So once we got the fade completely done, you want to just make sure that you're just taking the time to go back over your work, detail little areas that you see that are out of place, dark spots, areas with more density. You want to make sure that you're just taking the time to go over everything. The first pass is your rough draft, and your final pass is all this detail work that we're doing here. Now I have some shear over comb, I have the thinning shears, and we are just blending this area out, getting dark spots that we couldn't get with the clipper, and just softening up this blend so that we can have a nice buttery, blurry, just super like butter smeared on bread type of blend. And that's what you want to look for. That's what you want to go for. That's the goal. And that's what we're looking like right here. So after we do all that, we have these slimline GTXs, and I am just knocking out all that hair at the bottom. We're not going completely bald to a shaver. All we're going to use is this GTX. This is a 0 gap trimmer, and I love these trimmers. These are hands down my favorite trimmers out right now. I have used the Babyliss FX trimmers, but I wasn't a huge fan. But I am looking to get the low cutted version of the Babyliss FX trimmers, and we'll see what we'll be able to do with those. I think that I can, get them adjusted to where I like the way they hit. But the GTXs, in my opinion, the slimline GTXs, in my opinion, are my favorite trimmer out right now. The slimlines were my favorite trimmer. Blade was a little bit too small. The GTX blade gives you so much more blade to cover a lot more larger area of hair. But we're getting all this sideburn hair knocked out on his cheeks, getting around the ear. You want to make sure you're pulling that ear down, getting all those hairs that are tucked away back there. That is a crucial thing that you don't want to miss, because I've heard a lot of clients complain, about barbers leaving hair back there, and that's a big deal to clients. You can leave like one hair, but it's a big deal. So make sure you're paying attention to those details like that. Now we're brushing all the hair out of the way, and we're going to go ahead and get to the vertical bar in the C-cup area. I'm just brushing his curls off of his forehead, clearing an area for us to go ahead and do this edge up on the right side of his head. So like I said, I only filmed one portion of this haircut, just the right side, and just completely breaking this down for y'all. Left side is done completely the same way. But right here, we're going to go ahead and attack this C-cup area. I am going to give him a professional pushback just on that corner as we go up. You can see those hairs hanging down right there. And I just want to get that knocked out so we can match up the vertical bars on the left side of his head. You can see some of that growth that's coming in, and we're just going to try to match this all up. Some clients you will push back, some clients you won't push back. If I see a client with a hairline that is really bad, I always suggest that they just keep their hairline as natural as possible. Like I suggest that we don't even touch the front portion of the hair, the vertical bars. A lot of times with people who are thinning in the front area of their hairline, or, you know, receding, I always suggest that we only touch the C cups. We don't touch the vertical bars or the front portion of the edge up, just so that we keep that natural look, give them as much, you know, hair on the front as possible, and not make it look, you know, super cosmetic. Just give it a very natural look. So you can see right here, that hairline, that C cup, we're connecting that to that new growth right there in the front. And I will say that the edge up portion of a haircut, in my opinion, it really brings out your fade. Me and my boss had a conversation the other day about the C cup area, sideburn area as well, keeping that area natural where the sideburn is at, and not pushing it back to make to not look like ice picks so much, and not taking the fade high and creating that contoured shape to the occipital bone. It really makes your fade pop when you pay attention to little details like that. But right here, we're using the 245 exposed razor, and we're just getting this knocked out. You can see that new growth right there, and just by excuse me, just by using that razor to sharpen up that line, you can see how much this haircut is popping. We're knocking out that sideburn area with the razor as well. Excuse me. And after we do that, I always like to go over areas that are shaved or areas with a lot of stubble, just with the shaver, just to go against the grain and get it as bald as we possibly can. A razor does do the job, but when you stretch that skin and get that shaver on there, in my opinion, it gets it a lot closer than the razor will. So that Profoil shaver will always come in handy. So if you don't have a shaver in your arsenal, I suggest you add it. If you don't know how to use a razor, you know, that's something that is a very useful tool in the barbershop. You want to make sure that you have that skill set. It just adds, you know, more services to your repertoire, so that you can just keep yourself keep yourself diverse, and just be able to take care of a lot of different things, and you will expand your clientele with diversity. So just keep that in mind. But there's the haircut. That's the edge up. There's the blend. I appreciate everybody for checking out this video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on your post notifications, like this video. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Until next time, God bless.